And hello, fellow aviators, the VATSIM here. Welcome to this Sunday afternoon streamer here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee at the Nashville International Airport. Some of the payware scenery here available on the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace. Don't have any of the aircraft set up AI traffic, but I am going to be on VATSIM tonight, so whoever happens to be on VATSIM, that'll be the traffic we see. But we're going to be flying the new black squared Turbine Duke from Nashville International all the way to Mountain Air, North Carolina. World famous airstrip in the Appalachian Mountains in the eastern United States. Highest airport east of the Mississippi River, and a fine airport to take this Turbine Duke into. Over here on the side of the airport, southern side of the airport here, where we had a little bit of avionics work going on. Had to get some repairs. This is an older Duke here with the 80s interior, 80s avionics. So it's going to be a lot of fun on this flight. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the cockpit and get things underway here. So we'll go ahead and hop on in. Glad to have all of you aboard today. It's been a little while since I've had a stream. Been pretty busy with family life, work life, all of that, but it's a good thing. And here we are inside the beautiful black square Turbine Duke. A lot of people have already had streams showing this aircraft off, so I'm sure to many of you it is not necessarily a new thing to see, but this is the first time I've ever streamed flying it, and I don't know that I've seen anybody stream into Mountain Air, North Carolina, so I hope that's a real treat for y'all today. So let's go ahead and get these control locks removed, the throttle control stops. Got all that out. You just click them and get that done. Here's the EFB tablet. Just click here on your lower left pocket up here in the cockpit, and you can see all sorts of stuff, so you can get your different avionics selections. I'm going with very basic KX155B and the KX155B for the secondary also. So no GPS today. There is an RNAV unit on here. I will demonstrate that to you all when we're getting a little bit closer to Mountain Air. We're going to use that for the last little leg of this flight. And yeah, it's a wonderful payware aircraft. Highly recommend this if you like general aviation aircraft. For our payload, it's just me flying today, and just 10 pounds of baggage, full fuel tanks. They don't have any fuel at Mountain Air for us, so we're just going to take this over, have a little fuel left over to come back, and I already refilled our oxygen. When I flew over here the other day, was flying up, cabin altitude is about 12,000 feet, so I was using oxygen, but you can see we have our oxygen supply refilled there, so great to have that. And our CG is all good. Plenty of runway obviously here, and you can see here on the EFB, you can check out all the different components in the aircraft, like the engines. They're still in pretty good condition. I've run this plane about 7 hours, but engines are still at 99% condition, which is good. Electrical system schematics in the cabin, and these will all react in real time as we manipulate the switches, so I'll be showing that as we continue along through the flight. No failures. These are all the failures you can model here in the black square Turbine Duke. You can see here I'm scrolling pretty quickly and we're still not to the end, so a rather impressive aircraft, and honestly, checklist wise, the default checklist window can be used. See here you have everything from your pre-flight in the cockpit all the way to the shutdown, and even your abnormal and emergency procedures available here on this. I'm actually going to be using a printout checklist today that's available online for free on flightsim.to. It's JD's Turbine Duke by Black Square Checklist. I don't have it to show on the screen, but feel free to go check out JD's checklist. He does a good job, and I will be using this in-game interface in case we have an emergency, because it works really well for that. You can see there's a remote compass misalignment. You can just go through it while you're still here looking in the cockpit, which is really nice. So that's everything we have here. I think I'm connected to VATSIM. Let me double check that. Yes, I am. Memphis Center is online, so that's good. And we do have an ATIS here at Nashville, so we'll listen to that once we get started up. So let's go ahead and start running through the checklist here real quickly. I'm going to go ahead and get the cabin door closed since we're on board. We'll leave our little window here open to the side, which will help us have a little bit of airflow. This aircraft does simulate cabin temperature and airflow, so you got to monitor that too. So we're definitely going to keep this window open to keep a little fresh air coming in. Alright, so in our inspection we have the control locks removed. The parking brake is set. That's going to be right down here, this knob. You just pull it out and the brakes are on. I'm going to actually remove the first officer's yoke because you can actually click through it accidentally and start pulling circuit breakers. I do not want to do that today, so I'm going to leave that alone. All switches are in the off position. That's good. Let me double check my honeycomb alpha and bravo. Yep, that's all good. Everything is switched off, so shouldn't have any surprises. Let's turn on the battery master really quickly, and you can see our fuel quantities are showing full. That's good. Battery switch back to off. Oxygen pressure, we already checked that. It's it's above 1850 and at 1850, and trim tabs are all set to 0. That's down here, 1, 2, and 3. Let's do a quick walk around. I think we're actually going to need to make sure we remove the pitot covers and engine covers. I do want to show you something really cool that they model here in the black square Turbine Duke. So the pitot tube covers will actually they'll actually blow in the direction of the wind. So if you're at an airport that doesn't have a windsock, it will indicate to you the direction of the wind. So I was reading that in the manual, so something really cool to know. So we need to get those engine covers removed, chocks removed, and the pitot tube covers removed. So let's hop back out. Didn't check that first, so that's important. And you can do that right here on the EFB. So chocks removed, pitot covers removed, engine covers removed. Let's make sure that all looks good. And it does. Excellent. We are ready to roll. Let's climb back in and get that door closed. So important to do your checklist. If we'd taken off with that stuff all covered up, I don't think we wouldn't have gotten anywhere with the chocks on, but it will cause the engines to seize up on you, and I think it'll simulate the pitot tubes being completely blocked off. So that would be exciting, I must say, but really cool if they simulate that. All right. So parking brake is set, landing gear handles down, all switches are off. We already checked the oxygen. Circuit breakers, they're over here on their first officer's side here. Everything is all in, or on the co-pilot side, everything is all in. Cabin temperature mode is in the off selector position. Pressurization air temp, it is off, pushed in, it's down here. That's going to give us hot bleed air when we're up at altitude where it's really cold. So we definitely don't need that on the ground here. Pressurization pressure shutoff knobs are pushed in. ELT is in the arm position up here. CO detector, we'll test that for carbon monoxide. Yep, that'll come in handy if we do have carbon monoxide. Very deadly threat in aviation, so good to have that. Alternate static air is in normal. Flaps are in the up position. Power levers, let's move those up to flight idle, and you will hear a click right there. And we'll talk about it during the taxi out, but you use beta mode a lot with the props so that you can control your taxi speed and not be riding the brakes the whole time. But we'll see that on the taxi out. Propeller levels, let's go ahead and put those out of feather into full high RPM. Condition levers are going to stay in cutoff. We want to move those till we start. It's just off and on here in this aircraft. You don't have the high idle, low idle, or any of that you might see with some of the other turboprops. And trim tabs are all at 0, like we said. Fuel selectors are in the on position. That's right down here between the co-pilot and pilot's seat. So that's it for the pre-flight check. Let's go ahead and get the before engine start check going. I think one thing I am going to do, I'm going to check out the ATIS really quickly while we're here. So let's see, what does VATSIM have for the ATIS frequency? I want to save some fuel. Oh man, Nashville ATIS just went off. Memphis Center just went off. Well, never mind. I think we might use Beyond ATC then. So that's what we're going to do. So that's a little bit of a change from what I was planning originally. I thought VATSIM would be on. So we're actually going to use Beyond ATC for our air traffic control. And let me tell you, they're working out some bugs with it. It's not perfect yet, but it is a fine option to have as a backup, especially when VATSIM controllers aren't online. If you fly late at night like I do, A lot of times you're not going to have controllers, and I absolutely love having Beyond ATC. So
Beyond ATC connected.
there we go. It's starting to load up. The one thing, you just got to make sure you have a sim brief flight planned, and it's not always going to be as it can get hung up sometimes because it's an AI controller. So we'll see if it can get us all the way through the flight without any hiccups. If not, we'll just turn it off and just fly. But we'll be ready to roll here in just a minute. All right. Well, maybe I can listen to that. Let's see if we can listen to the ATIS again. So ATIS here in Nashville is 135.1. So let's pop that into the COM2 here. Go ahead and get our weather before we start burning fuel. 135.1. I'll get the chat up.
Temperature 29er, 2.16. Altimeter 29906. Landing runways 20 right, 20 left. Departing runway 20 center. 5G notice in effect. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Romeo. Nashville Airport information, Romeo. 2257 Zulu. Wind 285 at 8, visibility 10. Ceiling 8000, broken. Temperature 29er, 2.16. Altimeter 29906. Landing runways 20 right, 20 left. Departing runway 20 center. 5G notice in effect.
Alright, we got that now. Go and pop these back off. Alright, so we've got our ATIS. Let me double check on the clearance here really quickly. We'll go ahead and get our clearance before we get fired up too. Let's see here. Clearance in Nashville. I'm showing on the JEP chart that it's 126.05. Let's see if that matches up. Yep, 126.05. So that's another cool thing about Beyond ATC. Let me see if y'all can see that window. I don't think you can on your... Yeah, you can't see Beyond ATC on the stream. Andrew Green, hey, how's it going? Thanks for checking in. This is a surprise stream for me, so we're glad you could check in. We're going to fly over to Mountain Air, North Carolina. But 126.05, we'll go ahead and grab our clearance. That's the real-world frequencies, so it's really cool. You can look at the charts and use the actual frequencies just like a real-world pilot would. All right, I'm going to get our clearance. Here we go. Nashville clearance radio check.
November 9747 Papa, reading you loud and clear.
Nashville clearance, November 9747 Papa, request IFR to Mountain Air with Romeo.
November 9747 Papa, Nashville clearance, information Romeo correct, cleared to Mountain Air Airport. Radar vectors Rabo, Dennis filed. Maintain 5000. Expect flight level 270, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.35. Squawk 0664.
November 9747 Papa, cleared to Mountain Air, radar vectors Rabo, as filed, climb 5000, expect flight level 270 in 10 minutes, departure 119.35, squawk 0664.
November 9747 Papa, read that correct. Contact ground 131.375 when ready for start or taxi.
Roger, November 9747 Papa. Alright,
Negative, ground on 131.375.
Ground on 131.375, over 9747 Papa. Okay, there you go. So sometimes it can get a little bit, it wants things a certain way, so there we go. We got that. And let's continue with our checklist. We're going to go ahead and get the engine started here in just a sec. I think I've got everything set up on my end. Beyond ATC is going just fine. And we will continue. So let's get the battery master on. Annunciators, let's check and consider. Those all look good. Good. Nav light to the on position. That's all down here. Nav light on. We'll get the beacon on. We do a battery test. We have 24 volts on bat 1. Let's go over to bat 2. That's at 24.9. We'll go to both. And fuel quantity is good. Landing gear lights are showing 3 green. And left and right ignition. Let's check the auto. There it is. Back to on. Auto. On. Fire detection test. We need to check that. That's this button right up here. Get left engine fire and right engine fire annunciators, and we can see all the fire extinguisher lights came on. It's a good test. And then it's time to start. Power levers to flight idle. They are. Propeller levers are in high RPM. Condition levers are in cutoff. Fuel selectors are both on. Beacons on, and we're going to start the right engine. So here we go. We're clear on the right. Let's start them up. Alright, so you'll hear that turbine starting to spool up here. We're going to wait till we get to 17% on the NG here. And then we'll move that condition lever to on and get fuel introduced in there. And there we go. There's our 17.5. Fuel's in. There's our light up. You can see that interstage turbine temperature rising, staying in the normal range. Just keep our hand on that condition lever just in case we start to see a hot start, so we can stop it in time before it gets too hot. It's spinning up. There we are past the 52, so we got to turn the starter off, turn the ignition off. Once we get it stabilized, we're going to turn on the generator. Alright, looking good. Generator's coming on. And we check our generator load down here. It has 21 amps on it, so that's good and normal. Alright, let's battery temperature. The other thing we need to check, and it's also a little high. It's at 140. So it's a little bit hot on battery number 2 there. Probably got that kept turning it on and off to do the pre-flight. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and start number 2 real quickly. Here we go. Start number 1. Just waiting on that turbine to get up to 17.5%. There it is. And get the fuel introduced. And there she is spinning up. And let's get the starter off. Get the ignition off. The battery's going to start cooling down here. Generator to on. Okay, good. You can see the generators are splitting the amp load there. So we're going to turn on the avionics master. I'm actually going to close this window so we get a little bit quieter, since we're not listening to those turboprops there. I'm going to actually get some air going here in the cabin for us too. It's 98 degrees out there, so pretty hot. So we'll get the cool on. And I'm actually going to turn the vent blower to high. Get some airflow in here. So we're burning up. It is a warm day here in Middle Tennessee where I live, so that is accurate. Alright, inverter, we're going to turn that to main on. There we go. Annunciators, inverter fail is off. Left right ignition are off. Left and right generators on. Fuel pumps are now they're in the off position. Oil doors, I'm actually going to open those up right now. I'm going to open up the ice deflectors. That'll keep any foreign object debris from causing damage to the engine on the ramp, like little rocks and gravel and things. Internal lights are good. Pitch trim power, let's go ahead and flip that on so we can move the trim with the switch there on the yoke. Weather radar is in off standby. Cabin mode and temperature, we got that set. Cabin pressurization, we need to set that up. We're going to leave it alone for right now because we're going to be doing a test in just a minute, which I can actually do right now. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll set it below cabin altitude, go to test, and we see the cabin actually started to descend. And then we're going to set this up to our initial altitude of, we're actually going all the way up to flight level 270, so we'll start our initial altitudes at 5,000. So I've got that set for flight level. Set that for our cabin altitude there. We'll go ahead and start climbing to that. Okay, that's set. We already did the pressurization test. Remote compass is showing 284. We're aligned there, and it is slaved. The gyro is slaved to the magnetic compass, so good. Common nav radios, DME. Our first fix is actually, let's take a look at that really quickly. Here on our, because we are not flying with a GPS today, so we actually have to have, we're going to be just using VOR to VOR navigation. So we're going to be flying off of Nashville VOR on the J46. So we're going up to flight level 270, so we're being high altitude. Nashville VOR's frequency is 114.1, so I'm going to go ahead and get that set in nav 1 here. 114.10, perfect. And it is the 097 radial that we're going to be flying initially. So let's go ahead and get that set in the course selector window. 097, that's set, and we'll set the rest of it up once we're in the air. So that's good. So radios, nav is set up, common nav radios are good. Garmin, we don't have transponder. Let's set that to our initial squawk, which was 06. Oops, sorry. Well, gotta redo this. Let's go back and do this again. 0664. That was what we were given in our clearance. So that's set. And we're actually supposed to be in standby right now. Altimeters, let's see, it was showing a 299.6, so let's get that set. Alright, and we'll set that on the co-pilot side too. See, the cabin is cooling down for us nicely, which is good. Alright, 299.6 is set in the altimeters. Autopilot mode and altitude, we got that set 5,000 our initial altitude. HSI source, we're going to be on the VOR, so that's set right there. Flight director, we'll go ahead and turn that on. We'll have it ready. Engine trend monitor, it's right down here. That's all good. Enunciators, check and consider, everything matches up, looks good. Flight controls, let's check free and full movement. And I actually need to get the track IR working here really quickly. Let me go ahead and flip that on for us. That way we'll be able to just freely look around the cockpit as we fly. So there we go. That's all good. Perfect. Alright, I think we're ready to taxi, so let's go ahead and flip that taxi light on. And if you all have anything that you'd like to add or say, please feel free to speak up in the chat. I actually need to go ahead and add, go ahead and pull it up on my end so I can see the chat. I'm actually going to watch from my cell phone here so I can see any chat that's going on. But Andrew Green, I saw that you were on. Thanks again for hopping in and joining. Great to have you here today. All right, here we go. We're on the ground, 131.375. And let's turn the parking breaker off. We'll get around this guy over here. He would get out of the way in real life, so I'm just gonna assume he got out of the way. And you can see that it goes really fast, but if you go into beta mode, you can hear the prop switching, and that gets it to where you can slow down a little bit without using your brakes too much. All right, go ahead and call them up. Nashville ground, November 90747, Papa, ready to taxi with Romeo.
November 9747 Papa, Runway 20 center taxi via Tango 4, Sierra 7.
Runway 20 center, taxi via Tango 4, Sierra 7. November 90747 Papa. Okay, let's take a look at that really quickly together. I'll pull this up on my side so you all can see it. So Tango 4 and Sierra 7. I'll actually see where we're going. I'm going to get us moving that way just for... So it's a right turn here on Tango 4. And then we go up to Sierra 7, a left turn. So that's what we're going to do. And there's actually a hot spot up there. Maintain vigilance as taxiway Sierra is often mistaken for 20 center departure surface. See how fast this goes in like flight idle? You have to put it into beta, change the pitch of the propellers to slow you down. So kind of crazy. This looks a lot like Nashville International. Now, if I flipped on the FSTL traffic, you'd probably see a bunch of Southwest Airlines 737s flying around, and probably some American Airlines Airbus aircraft. It's a pretty busy airport, especially on a Sunday afternoon. A lot of people flying out of Nashville these days, but I'm just using the VATSIM traffic right now. We gotta go all the way down here to Sierra 7. We're actually gonna need to do a run-up check before we get going. And it's a pretty extensive check really on the, well actually I'll turn this on. Pretty extensive check in JD's checklist. And I'm actually trying to get a real world Turbine Duke checklist to use. And just to compare with JD's, because there's a lot of repetition on some of the...
November 9747 Papa. Contact Nashville Tower 118.6.
Contact 118.6. November 9747 Papa. Alright, here comes Sierra 7, so we're going to take a left turn here. We're going to hold short of the runway, and we got to do our run up. They would not be too happy with me in real life. I'd want to let them know I need to do a run up, because they probably won't be clogging up the runway here. Alright, 118.6, that's going to be the tower frequency, and then their departure frequency was going to be 119.35. That's what they gave us in our clearance. So let's go ahead and set that standing by in COM 1. That way we'll be able to flip right over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up here. I'm actually going to stop right here so there's room for someone to go around us if they need to and get to the runway at Sierra 7. So park and brake on, and let's go ahead and do our run-up checklist really quickly. Take it out of beta. Now these two red lights will come on when you're in beta mode, so it'll tell you. See, when I clicked out, you can hear the propellers sound switch, and you also see those red lights pop off. Alright, so for our engine run-up check, park and brake set, enunciators, full test and consider them again. That all looks good. We already did the fire detection test. We need to put the fuel selectors into cross feed. I'm actually gonna turn the track IR off so that we can do this. So there's cross feed on the left, cross feed on the right. I'll make sure that that's working. Might need that in flight depending on what happens. Wing pumps to on, that's over here. Turn those on. Oil doors are open. Ice deflectors are on. Instrument air gauge, it's over here. It is in the green. Look at our battery temp has gone down nicely into the green. That's good. Governor and generator test we're going to perform. So we're going to run the engines up to 2,000 RPM. So we're getting the prop RPM up to 2,000 here. Then we're going to test the prop governors, make sure they're working. Alright. Or 2050, excuse me. The RPM. A little high there. Alright, let's make sure it works. So there's the left test. Take it down to 1990. check the right side, Governor. X2000, let's go up to 2190 on the RPMs now. Add a little more juice. Here we go. Now we're going to check our prop levers, bring it back to 1500 RPM. There we go. Exercise those props. Alright, that's all good. Let's make sure that the generators will reset really quickly. I'll hold reset and it should switch to 0. For some reason it's not. It's on. So here's the system amps. When I hold left generator reset, it should. Not sure why it's not reset. I wonder if that's a semism. Let me check failures really quickly. 0 active failures. So I'm not sure why it's not working. Well, that's assume that's a semism. Generator load sharing around 40 amps totally. That's at 31 a piece. Power levers to idle. It'll get a little quieter in here. Pressurization system test we already performed. And it's set to, we're going to go to 5,000 cabin altitude for our initial desired there. Next part of the checklist. This is quite the checklist JD put together. I appreciate him doing it though. De-ice system test. We got to perform that really quickly. So the left propeller heat, we're going to put that on. And we're going to check that it's working. You can see the prop amps went up there. Let's check the right prop heat. And there go the prop amps over here. They went up good. Cycle 2. So windshield heat, we'll turn that on. We're going to look for the amps to go up. We're going to turn on the fuel vent heat. Amps are going up. Pitot heat left, pitot heat right in the stall. Vane, it's all good. And let's turn all of that back off. We should see the amps go down on the ammeter over there. Good. Next up, surface de-icing. So we're going to hit this surface cycle and we're going to see the de-icing pressure display over here on this gauge. So let's do the surface 1 cycle first. It went up. There it goes. We're getting a good test. And then it should cycle back down and we'll check the manual. That's pumping the air into these boots out here. You can actually see it inflating and going back down. See that? So if you have ice building up on your wing, you just pop this, it pumps some air into there. Here we can see it inflating. That's how you get, that's how a lot of these turboprops will de-ice. And you want to make sure you wait until some ice builds up so that it actually will break off. If you do it constantly, you have what's called ice bridging, where the ice actually forms outside of where that boot can reach when it inflates. So you want to wait till a little ice builds up and then you pop the boots. Good thing to remember when you have that system. All right, pitch trim power is on, so let's go ahead and exercise our pitch trim. Let's make sure it's moving up and down. It is. That's great. And we need to do our autopilot test really quickly. Let's pull up the yoke. And we're going to turn the autopilot on. It's in heading mode. We should see, yep, the yoke went to the right. The flight director went to the right. Let's move the heading bug over here to the left. And we should get, I'm actually going to leave it over here on runway heading. 20, and there. Yoke is going to the left, right. Autopilot. Switch off and turn the flight director off. Good, good. And there we go. Perfect. So we're all set, ready to go. With that, autopilot's good. Fuel selector's back to on. And we're going to be ready for the before takeoff check. So let's flip this back over. Right side back over to on. And before takeoff check, oil doors, we're going to leave those open for now. Ice deflector, inertial separators on. Fuel pumps, we're going to leave them in the wing mode. Ignition to auto. de-ice off, pitch trim on, flaps, we're gonna have to leave them up. We have plenty of runway. Cabin mode, gotta go to off now for a little bit for takeoff. Pressurization control is set. Autopilot mode and altitude is pre-selected, go up to 5,000 feet on radar vectors out to our first fix of Rabo. HSI source is good. VOR loc GPS, we're VOR loc. Altimeter set. Propeller levers are high RPM. Elevator trim is set for takeoff in the green band, and fuel selectors are on. Weather radar, we're going to go ahead and flip that on. Shouldn't be really anything on our route today, but just in case. Transponders on ALT, nav lights, strobe and nav, we'll get that on as we're taking the runway. The front landing lights on when we take off. Alright, here we go. Let's give them a call. Nashville Tower, November 9er 747 Papa, holding short runway 20 center.
November 9 747 Papa, Nashville Tower, wind 285 at 8, fly runway heading, runway 20 center, cleared for takeoff.
Fly runway heading, runway 20 center, clear for takeoff from November 9er 747 Papa. Alright, so we're cleared for takeoff. There was 20 center on the sign. We're clear to the left, clear to the right, nobody's coming in. Let's go ahead and get these lights on here really quickly. So strobe and nav, you gotta flip it all the way down. And beacon and recog, let's get that on. Get our landing lights on. Alright, runway heading initially on 20 center. There's 20 center. So we need to hold the brakes here. Get our power set. Get this recentered. There we go. Alright. So we don't want to go to above 1260 on the torque. I'm going to get up to about 1200, then we're going to let it go. Alright. I think that's good. We don't want to overboost it. Here we go. We're going to rotate around 100 knots today. See that torque, it bumped up on us as we were accelerating, so I had to pull it back a little bit on the throttle. There's our rotate. Smoothly pull back on the reyoke. Pause the brake, gear up. And you just want to stay on runway heading, so that's what we'll fly. Going to keep our climb at about 150, 160. Don't want to get too fast on the
November 9 747 Papa, contact Nashville departure, see you.
Contact Nashville departure, November 9 747 Papa, good day. Nashville departure, November 9er 747 Papa, 2,400, climbing 5,000, runway heading.
November 9 747 Papa, Nashville departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 1 tree 13,000, altimeter 2996.
Climb and maintain 1 tree 13,000, 2996, November 9er 747 Papa.
November 9 747 Papa, turn left, heading 090. Expect further clearance at about 17 miles.
Turn left, heading 090, November 9er 747 Papa. Alright, turn left, slow. Heading 090. Honestly, I need to get my Honeycomb Bravo set up to where I can change the heading bug on that instead of using the mouse wheel. Because sometimes it will start scrolling in and out on the zoom, which is a little annoying. Well, as you can see, a beautiful day here in Tennessee. There's the Nashville International Airport back behind us.
November 9 747 Papa, turn left, heading 085.
Turn left heading 085, number 9747 Papa. Alright, 085 set. I'm actually going to flip the autopilot on for a second so that I can work on the pressurization, getting that set up again. Getting into the clouds here. Temperature should be good. Let's go ahead and get some...
All aircraft be advised information Sierra now current. Altimeter 29906.
Okay, we got that set. Now let's get our pressurization set. Let's hop over here. I'm just going to look down. You actually want to get to the aircraft altitude. I'm going to set it up for level 270. That's going to take our cabin above 10,000 feet. So we're going to be fine. There we go. So you can see that lower window there. That's our aircraft altitude. It's going up to 27,000. So we're going to be at about 11,500 feet in the cabin when we get up there. Let's check our temperature down here. It's showing we're about 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So when we get to 4 degrees Celsius, that's when we need to turn on the pitot heat. So it's coming up pretty soon. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pop it on so that I don't forget. Don't want ice to start building up. And we actually might start getting a little ice in some of these cloud tops here coming up. As you can see, this aircraft loves to climb. We're actually going at 180 knots right now. And it'll climb out at, 3,000 to 4,000 feet per minute here if you let it. But the problem is the cabin altitude controller can't keep up a lot of times. You'll get your pressurization out of control. And the difference between the cabin pressure and the atmospheric pressure gets too great, and you'll get a warning. So I found I typically just do a high-speed climb, keep it below 2,000 feet per minute. It tends to work out pretty well. Now you can increase the cabin climb rate here, but look, we're at about 900 feet per minute right now.
November 9747 Papa, contact Memphis Center 126.75. Take care.
126.75, number 9747 Papa, good day. I'm not going to step on a VATSIM controller. That's looking good. Memphis Center, November 9747 Papa, 11,000, climbing 13,000. Present heading.
November 9747 Papa, Memphis Center, climb and maintain flight level 270.
Climb and maintain flight level 270, November 9747 Papa. Right, so there's a flight level 270 set. We are definitely, I'm guessing we've got to be below freezing now outside the aircraft. Yeah, pretty close. Looks like we're at about, here's our thermometer. It's a little tough to see, honestly. But you can see we're just above 0 degrees Fahrenheit now. So, getting pretty close. I need to go ahead and start doing the climb checklist. I'm going to close those oil doors. I'm going to turn off the recog lights, get our landing lights, taxi lights back off. Let's go ahead and run through some of the taxi checklist items.
November 9747 Papa, cleared direct Rabo. Resume own navigation.
Alright, clear direct Rabo, November 9747 Papa. Alright. So we're aviate, navigate, communicate. We're actually on a route to get to Rabo on the airway right now. It would not. I'll show you Rabo. It's on the airway, J46, so it's 60 nautical miles from Nashville. And right down here we're at about 17 nautical miles right now. So we're going to intercept the airway and end up going right to it. Now you can see the course deflection indicators coming in right now. So I'll just sync up the nav mode here in just a minute. So for our climb checklist,
November 9747 Papa, contact Memphis Center 132.1.
132.1, November 9747 Papa. Good day. Memphis Center, November 9747 Papa, 14-2, calling the flight level 270, direct rainbow.
November 9747 Papa, Memphis Center, roger.
Alright. Let's take a look outside the aircraft really quickly. I am going to be doing a high-speed climb and other things, so we're just going to keep 1,200 foot-pounds on the torque. You can see we're at 1060 right now, right up here. You actually got to keep bumping up the throttles, and then eventually you get to the stops. Because as you climb, you got to add a little more juice to it. Let's get it up to 1,200, and we're going to keep our RPMs on the props up at 2,190. Alright, let's go look at the outside of the aircraft really quickly. Give you a look at that. See, I just have a pretty basic paint job right now. Actually need to, let's change over to heat mode. We'll change the lower to low. So we're 53 degrees in the cabin. So this is where we need to pull out the pressurization air, and I'm actually going to show you what happens here on the schematics. This is one of the cool things in this plane. So here's the cabin, this is what's going on. The air is coming in off the engines. So as I pull these pressurization air temp knobs, I'm going to pull the right one here. Watch, this gate is going to slowly open down here, and you're going to start to see a little more hot air from the engine be allowed to come in. And I'm actually going to do the same for the left side. As you can see, our cabin right now is at 55 degrees. Pretty cold. So we should start to get a little bit warmer in here in just a minute. There, it's already gone up to 56. See, as we're letting in hot air off the engines. Here's the engine schematics. You can see everything that's going on there in the engines. Pretty cool. Alright, we're on the airway now. I'm going to go ahead and hit nav mode. It's going to track the 097 radial off of Nashville VOR and take us straight to Rebu and on course. So looking good. View of the Tennessee countryside back here. Here's I-40 down below us. Towards Knoxville. We actually do have to try to get to Mountain Air before it's nighttime, because you're not allowed to land there at night. Alright, through flight level 180, so our altimeters need to go to 2992. I'm not sure what the volume levels are like for you all, but this airplane is very loud. It sounds very loud in my headset, so I'll try to work on getting volume levels adjusted for future streams, but just needs to be adjusted. Please let me know. Comments, even if you watch the replay, just let me know. We need to bump our torque up a little bit. Just about to get to firewall on the thrust. Yep, there's firewall, so see we're not even getting to, can't get above 1080. Just leave that in the firewall and it'll be okay. Charts here. So Mountain Air actually not have a 10.9 page on here. So there's a little bit of information about the airport. It's a private airport. You actually have to have permission to land there or be a resident there. It's an aviation flying community on top of a mountain. Elevation 4,432 feet, 2,900 foot runway. But a beautiful, beautiful airport. There's a payware scenery available for it in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace, which is what we're using today. And you'll see it's a great place. Once we get to cruise flight, I'll show you a little bit about it on the internet browser. But pretty straightforward flight here. We're following J46, the same course all the way to Volunteer VOR, which is Knoxville, home of the Tennessee Volunteers. So 116.4 is going to be that frequency. I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to get it active on nav 2. Have it standing by on nav 1. There we go. We might get to talk to Atlanta Center here in just a minute. I don't know. VATSIM. Kind of toying with whether I should talk to them on VATSIM or just stay with Beyond ATC. So if you all have any thoughts, if you'd rather me switch to VATSIM when I get to Atlanta Center, I'll do that. If you want me to stay with Beyond ATC, see how it does in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains, I will certainly try that out too. That could be a little bit exciting, honestly. So, the Asheville weather is it's actually our alternate. Let's check out the weather there right now. You can see it's via visual meteorological conditions. So winds are actually out of the west down there. It's not too far away from mountain air. Scatter clouds at 6,000, 3008 on the altimeters. But if you look at the terminal aerodrome forecast, it's going to go downhill pretty quickly this evening in Nashville. And I would imagine probably the same, just a little north of the airport in mountain air. So we definitely need to get on in there sooner rather than later. It's going to get foggy heading into the morning. So be a lot of fun flying out in the morning. Next flight's probably going to be to the beach from here, mountain air down to the Gulf Coast, but I'll probably do that at another time. But plenty of runway for this airplane to stop. It actually performs really, really well, and we are getting pretty high. We just crossed past 10,000 feet on our cabin altitude, so we need to turn on our supplemental oxygen. So there we go, it's on. Another really cool thing, let me show you here on the tablet, is, well, let me turn off the track IR because it's not letting me look down far enough. Another really cool thing on the tablet, it'll show your blood out, your oxygen. So see, we're at 93, that's actually really low. We want to be up in the upper 90s. So just that little bit of time with the cabin above 10,000 feet is starting to affect us. So you want to make sure you keep that blood out, or not alcohol, sorry, the oxygen levels in your blood up, so that you can avoid hypoxia, where you pretty much just eventually become unable to reason or even control the aircraft. Alright, here we are at our cruising altitude, flight level 270. And our fuel loads are good. Down here, 118 gallons in the left tank, 113 in the right, just about a 5-pound imbalance. So, not bad at all. We're going to speed up a bit, then I'm actually going to bring the propellers back to 2,000 RPM for our cruise. And you'll hear a massive noise reduction as we do that. I'm going to wait just a minute, let the aircraft accelerate. Nothing on the radar today. It does work, by the way, which is cool. There's the test mode. You can see it has all the colors. We're kind of an old school radar unit, which is perfectly fine. Looks like we are picking up Volunteer VOR. And it does have the ident knobs here where you can identify. The problem is with the audio levels currently set in this airplane, I can't even hear it, honestly. I just hear the engine and the propellers. Alright. Keep this acceleration going for a bit. So we're going to do the normal cruise. So torque limit is 920. We're below that at firewall. See, we're at 900, 910. RPMs, we're going to want to go back to 2,000 RPMs. So let's go ahead and set that. Start pulling back the prop levers. Bring it back to 2,000 now that we've accelerated. Trying to get it back there. There, you could definitely hear the noise reduction. We have a little bit of a desync between the two props right now. You can hear that noise. Actually gonna try to sync it up if I can. No prop sync that I'm aware of on this plane. Torques matched up.
November 9747 Papa, contact Atlanta Center 133.6. Have a good day.
Contact 133.6, November 9747 Papa, good day. Alright, 133.6. So this could be when we contact Atlanta Center, I guess, on VATSIM. If we wanted to. Let me see if they're even still on, and they are. So well, let's check it out. We'll contact Atlanta Center on 132-975. Let me see if I can. We'll go ahead and talk to them on beyond ATC, and it should ping me when they want to talk to me on VATSIM. Atlanta Center, remember, 9747 Papa, flight level 270.
November 9747 Papa, Atlanta Center, roger.
They want me to squawk something initially. I don't even know. Well, for the continuity of the flight, maybe I should just... It's kind of tough. Could be cool to show that I've never actually swapped from Beyond ATC to VATSIM before. Maybe I'll try it here. So I'll call them up. They're 132.975. Let me do that.
Precipitation from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, starting 40 miles. Line extends north, west to southeast for about 40 miles.
2524, roger. American 335, we vacate on Charlie.
American 335, Charlie Romeo to the ramp, cross runway 23.
Charlie Romeo to the ramp, cross 23, and then
Frontier Flight 1241, Atlanta Center, roger. RA60, you're still squawking VFR. If you don't know how to squawk a code on this network, you probably need to figure that out offline before you come back. So, yeah, there's nothing I can do for you if you can't squawk a code.
RA60, what is the slot code?
You if you don't know what a squawk code is, you need to go back to the VATSIM Pilot Resource Center.
Thanks.
There
Somebody's
are a lot of
getting chewed
learning
out.
materials out there. I don't have time here to teach you how to squawk a transponder code.
Uh-oh. Here, let me check the...
American 1526, cleared direct bullseye.
I wonder if this guy's going to want to talk to me.
Check bullseye for American 1526.
He might get mad at me for calling him up. I don't know.
Got a 2345 descend via the Cockpit to arrival. Atlanta altimeter is 3001 and transition to 280 knots.
Let's switch to heading mode.
3001, transition at 280 knots,
Delta
Delta 2345, and Hobbit number.
So we're closer to Volunteer than we are to
Got
Nashville.
2345.
Only
There's
47
an area of moderate to heavy precipitation from your 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And 40 miles, area is about 40 miles diameter.
Roger, we'll maintain visual separation, Delta
Negative
2345.
25 Celsius on the
10-4.
thermometer. The reason I'm looking at that is because the airspeed indicator actually has a dial here. You can set your pressure
Flight
altitude
1241
to
descend via the
70
Jedi
match
3
up with the
arrival,
temperature
Atlanta
on the top,
altimeter
and it'll give
3001.
you your true airspeed and knots here in that white window. So let's do that. Negative 20
Atlanta altimeter is
Celsius.
3001.
We get this white window to 27.
So on the 498, Houston Center is offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Thank you very much for the service, good
Here we
luck.
go. So true airspeed is about
Got a
285
2148,
knots.
Memphis Center is offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
FX 38 TC, we'll see you later.
Ground speed according to the TV equipment is 304
Number 7 Alpha
knots.
Yankee,
This is a fast
what
airplane.
was your last assigned altitude? Is it 3,000 or 4,000?
3000, number 7 Alpha Yankee.
For 7 Alpha Yankee, Roger, would you still like 4,000?
4000 will take me into the cloud area, up to you for the separation, number 7 Alpha Yankee.
For 7 Alpha Yankee, in that case, just maintain 3,000.
Maintain 3000, number 7 Alpha Yankee.
Center Delta 1523 in Knoxville, ready for taxi. Delta 1523, runway 23 left, taxi via Alpha. 23 left via Alpha, Delta 1523. Number 47 Papa, Atlanta Center, you up?
Honestly, I don't know if this guy wants to talk to us. Sounds pretty busy.
Delta 1394, Indy Center is offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
Over to Unicom, have a great night, good luck, Bruce, Delta 1394.
There we go.
Thanks.
Yep.
Atlanta, good evening, Delta 638, 15 miles west of Roanoke, level 300.
Delta 638, Atlanta Center, Roger. American 1526, contact Jacksonville Center on 135.902.
American 1526. Atlanta Center, number 7 Alpha Yankee, I would rather actually climb to 4000, please.
Number 7 Alpha Yankee, Roger, climb to maintain 4,000.
Climb and maintain 4000, number 7 Alpha Yankee.
Atlanta Center, Duke 9747, pop-off flight level 270.
Number 9747, pop out Atlanta Center, ident.
Southwest 2892 at 10,000, climbing for 14,000.
Southwest 2892, Atlanta Center, hello, climb and maintain flight level 350.
Climb and maintain flight level 350, Southwest 2892. Thank you.
Hello, Center, Spirit Wind 672 with you, Spirit
Spirit 672, Atlanta
turn off
Center.
beyond ATC now.
Roger. Spirit 672, ident.
Ident.
Yeah,
Number 47 Papa, radar contact 30 miles west of Knoxville. Reset transponder, squawk 1065.
1065, number 9747 Papa.
Number 1 Tango Echo.
Alright, here we go, 1065.
K-Lock at or above 6,500, clear RNAV runway
Yeah,
21,
so that thing
approaching
that'll-
Pensacola.
Flight instructor will get mad at you if ATC tells you to ident and you read back ident. Just don't ever read it back, just press the button.
0692, radar
So maybe if you
contact
get chewed out in a flight list if you ever have one in the future.
West of Polston Mountain, squawk 0656.
Don't respond to that one.
065.
Hit the button.
Duke 47 Papa, descend at top discretion, maintain 11,000, actual altimeter is 3008.
Pilot discretion 11,000, 3008, Duke 47 Papa. Alright, 11 set at our discretion. Looking pretty nice out here so far. Once we cross volunteer VOR here, I'll pull it up on the en route charts. Once we cross volunteer VOR, we're going to turn very slightly to our right. It's 105 on the track, so now we're direct to Snowbird at that point. So I have that set on the number 2 just as a reminder. Hey, we need to go to 105 once we cross volunteer in about 23 nautical miles. Snowbird VOR 108.8.
Atlanta Center, good evening. Transat 557 Heavy
active
370.
in nav 2.
Transat 557, Atlanta Center, roger.
And we'll get it standing by in nav 1. 108.8. There we go. Let's see how our temperature is doing. It's 68 degrees, so you can see we have it nice and comfortable in here. Well, that's good. Alright. So, one thing I wanted to show you was this antiquated RNAV unit that is in this aircraft. So, what you can do is you can put in a VOR. It's actually this area, this unit right here. You put in a VOR frequency.
Got a 2524, maintain 300 knots, operator
a radial and a distance.
2524.
It will allow you to hook up the HSI needles here onto that RNAV frequency, to that point. But it's going to be using ground-based navigation. It's not GPS to get you to an RNAV point. So what I'm planning to do is set an RNAV point at the Mountain Air Airport so that we'll be able to have some more situational awareness as we approach. So how you can do that, you can go to airnav.com, type in the airport.
Delta 687, contact Washington Center on 133.72. See ya.
Just give me 1 second.
Atlanta Center, Southwest 3452, flight 400.
I have to set it up each time.
Going to Washington Center, Delta 687, thanks for level.
So if you come here to airnav.com, you can see it'll give you VOR radial distance at the bottom of the page.
Delta 586, contact land approach, 133.47.
We'll use the Snowbird. So Snowbird 086 radial. And it's 34.9 DME from Snowbird. And that's 108.8 for the frequency. Alright, cool. So we have that.
Atlanta Center, roger.
So what we'll do is we'll punch that into our RNAV unit.
24, contact land approach, 133.47.
3347, Delta 2524.
So 108.8 is the frequency.
Atlanta, good evening. Southwest 1872, level 360.
And
Southwest 1872, Atlanta
switch
Center,
the
roger.
outer knob to go to, oops, sorry. This. Data, there it is. Yep, data. See the little triangles, they moved their radial there. So the radial we saw was 086. So let's change to the 086 radial.
Atlanta Center, good evening. Delta 518, 4500 for 14,000.
And then the distance was 34.9.
Delta 518, Atlanta Center, roger. Condemnation, flight level 330.
Flight level 330.
Pull the knob out, you can do the 10-7 nautical.
And Delta 518, looks like we messed up your aircraft type in the flight plan. What's your aircraft type?
Now we have an RNAV waypoint from Snowbird to the airport. And we can also just track that 086 radial off of Snowbird, but that's how you can set that up to use it. Alright, so we do have pilot's discretion to 11,000 feet.
There's an area
Let's calculate our descent
moderate
here.
to heavy precipitation at your 12 o'clock, starting in 20 miles, extending for another 40 miles. Let me know if you need
So
any
Mountain Air
deviation.
Airport, like we said, is at 4,432 feet. Pattern altitude in a turbine aircraft typically you want to be 1,500 feet above the field elevation.
I'm at 4,000.
So for that, I'm going to say
Delta 1523 Roger, clear direct Higgy, climb to maintain 16,000.
So we need to lose 21,000 feet from cruise altitude to get down to 6,000 feet. And that would mean we multiply that by 3, that's
contact land approach
63 miles.
133.47. Good night.
Over approaching you, Frontier Michael Woodland.
So let's see how far out 63 miles is from Mountain Air.
Number 7 Alpha Yankee, there's an area of moderate to heavy precipitation from your 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And shoot,
so we know from Snowbird to Mountain Air, it's 34 miles.
Have visual
about
heavy
35.
precipitation will pass through the moderate precipitation at 11 o'clock. Number 7 Alpha Yankee.
It's 28 miles from Snowbird, we'll begin our descent. That's our plan. And if you go onto the Mountain Air website, they actually have information for pilots there. Typically, they have procedures they want you to follow. They want you to go over the town of Burnsville, which is just north of the airport, and you circle there until you get to 8,000 feet. So typically that's what air traffic control will clear you to. And then you, alright, we just crossed the VOR, so we need to turn to 105. Just gotta change that to 105. Let's check out Knoxville real quick. There's Knoxville down below us. There's McGee Tyson, the International Airport. And downtown.
Delta 2345, contact Atlanta approach 133.47.
3347, Delta 2345.
But all that to say, anyways, yeah, the Mountain Air. So one of the things is the traffic pattern there. So the runway we're landing on, I think we're going to be landing on the westward runway. Let's take a look at what that is. It's runway 32. So that's right traffic.
487 for directional flight, this is maintain flight level 360.
Which we can actually see here on the VFR map. We just pull that up. So the FAA map. There we go, the sectional. So it'll show you on here.
Delta 518, there's an area of moderate to heavy precipitation at your 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and 30 miles area is about 20 miles in diameter.
4,432. So yeah, it's right traffic here onto runway 32, which is probably where we're landing. But typically they'll take you over Burnsville. You descend, enter the traffic pattern 6,000 feet for us, come around, land. If you don't touch down by the markers there, you have to go around. You don't want to make left traffic for 32. You can see the mountains right there. Mount Mitchell is close by, highest mountain east of the Mississippi in the United States, 6,327 feet. Other threat to be aware of here is just the off-route, minimum off-route altitude. It's a pretty high terrain area for the eastern United States. So in that quadrant, 6,700 is the grid Mora. Grid minimum off-route altitude. I'm actually going to switch us over to Snowbird now.
Atlanta Center, good evening. November 31, William X-ray 24 miles north of the Sugarloaf VOR, passing 8,000 IFR to Gwinnett County.
Hiroshima William X-ray, Atlanta Center, radar contact. Clear to the Gwinnett County Airport via direct Sugarloaf, and it's filed. Want to maintain flight level 180, squawk 5175.
Alright, let's start your descent to 11. The autopilot off.
31 William X-ray clear to Gwinnett County via direct Sugarloaf, then S5, come and maintain flight level 180 and squawk 5175. 31 William X-ray.
Atlanta Center, American 823, it's going to be the stock report arrival going through 14,000 right now.
Let's see. Ground speed is about 300 feet, about 1,500 feet per minute.
Alpha, expect visual approach, only 18 left.
We have Alpha on board, expect 18 left for American 823 visual.
There we go. Last Center, Duke 47 Papa, vacating flight level 270.
Center 47 Papa, roger, advise when you have weather at Heaven's Landing. Correction, not Heaven's Landing, Mountain Air.
we have the weather. Number 47 Papa.
Roger. Number 1 Lima X-ray, clear direct Milby.
Yeah,
Direct
they actually,
Milby, 1 Lima
they don't,
X-ray.
you can tune and get the actual weather there, I think, especially because it's not simulated, but we're just using Nashville. So it's BMC, winds out of the west, southwest, and 3008 on the altimeter.
I'm on center, Spirit was 672 right for the side.
True range 672, cross
Alright, so
Andre
we're
at
going to set
maintain
our
13000,
fuel elevation there. We're going to set down to about
3001. Copy Andre
5,000 feet or so.
For 1 Tango Echo, no traffic observed between you and Toccoa Airport. Report cancellation by FAR with me. Frequency change to advisory is approved.
Here we go. We're going to have to keep an eye on our differential pressure because right now we got the vertical speed exceeding the cabin descent at around 1,000 feet per minute. And you can see the differential pressure, it's already pretty high to the limit. This
Atlanta,
cabin can only handle about 4.8.
Southwest 1872, that's approved.
4.7 differential pressure, so not very much compared to a transport category aircraft today. So you really have to watch this. And we might actually have to arrest the descent at some point here with the rate. So we'll keep an eye on that. So after we cross Snowbird VOR, we're only about 10 miles out. It's going to be a 089 track up to Mountain Air. I'll actually probably switch this to the RNAV.
Legion 487, cross Player at and maintain flight level 240.
Cross Player at and maintain 240, Legion 47.
Obviously some
Legion
of the
487, that's Player,
threats,
Papa Lima, Yankee, Romeo, Romeo.
Terrain in the area. Said if we're going miss, we're just going to turn to the right out over Burnsville.
Yankee, Romeo,
There's a lot more room to maneuver out there. We need to go to a different airport. We're going down to Asheville.
Departure flight 4782, Atlanta Center under contact. There's an area of
we can climb to
moderate to heavy precipitation along route of flight for the next 80 miles. Let me know if you need any deviation.
And that'll take us to Asheville, which is pretty much south of the airport. So get into trouble, that's our plan.
Southwest 2892, contact Jacksonville Center, 135.902.
Jacksonville Center on 135.902. Southwest 2892. Thank you for the ATC.
Number 7 Alpha Yankee, advise you have weather notice for Birmingham Airport. The Birmingham altimeter is 3000.
We'll check Birmingham, Northam, November 7 Alpha.
So the aircraft Pigeon Forge, Gallenberg somewhere back behind us there. There's the beautiful mountains.
Legion 47, cross Player at and maintain flight level 240.
Player at 240, Legion 47, sorry, good mix up.
No worries. Transat 557, contact Washington Center on 133.72.
Washington 3372, Transat 557, have a good evening.
Here's how you can
Atlanta Center,
get panel
Alpha
lights.
Yankee have weather for Birmingham Airport, altimeter 3000, November 7 Alpha Yankee.
Alpha Yankee, Roger. American 823, descend to maintain 900,000.
Descend to maintain 900,000 for American 823.
Delta 1523, cross Andre at maintain 13000, 250 knots, line altimeter 3001.
Sun's starting to set a little bit on us.
Andre at 13000, 250 knots for Delta 1523.
Cabin pressure.
Delta 3452, cross Lindsay at maintain flight level 240.
Cross Lindsay at or maintain flight level 240, South 3452.
For 7 Alpha Yankee, expect the visual approach runway 24.
Alright.
Visual approach runway 24, November 7 Alpha Yankee.
Delta 65, descend via the Jedi 3 arrival, and line altimeter 3001.
Altitude, oil doors, we're going to leave those closed for now. Ice deflectors
3001
for now. Might need them in these clouds. We'll keep a look at the temperature as we get closer. De-ice is off for now. Ignition is in auto. Exterior lights Goes on in just a minute.
German cargo 459, Atlanta Center, roger. Your flight altitude should be 14,000, but don't worry about it now. Flight maintain flight level 350.
We'll leave midwing. Just gonna check the fleet. Alright, there's a flight level 180.
German cargo 459, there's an area of heavy to extreme precipitation at 11 to 12 o'clock in 30 miles. Area is 15 miles in diameter. Let me know if you need any deviation for the weather.
Go.
In Atlanta Center for Legion 47, we were wondering if after waypoint player, if we could expect the RNAV 175.
So I think we're going to get it just before sunset, which is good, because that airport is not
Legion 47, you can expect that. For now, after player should be direct to the Asheville airport.
Way to get in there, go up to the clubhouse, get some dinner.
Roger, direct to Asheville.
Alright, we need to turn on to our next heading here. We actually need to go direct to the airport.
Delta 518, radar contact lost.
With this will allow the CDI to go toward the airport, so there we go. That'll get us back on our track.
Number 1 Tango Echo, IFR cancellation received, squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Have a good night.
So we're currently 24 miles, a few clouds up ahead, so hopefully we can get down below those. I'm going to try to increase our rate of descent just a bit. Pull the throttles back. Well, like I said, there's no real weather station there that's available in the sim, so we're having to use Asheville weather. And as anyone who's flown around mountains knows, the mountains can create their own weather, so we'll see what's actually happening here at Mountain Air. If we can't get in, we're going to Asheville. Climbing up to 7,000 feet, heading south to Sugarloaf Mountain VOR and into the airport. Looks like we're actually picking up, we're either picking up mountains or some weather up ahead. So, actually looks like there's some rain falling in the mountains. Look out over the nose there. Maybe straight ahead, that might be what the radar's picking up. A few little rain showers. It's at about 30 nautical miles, which is a little past where we're actually flying to, so.
And Atlanta Center for Legion 47, I just want your confirmation what the next fix will be after player that we're directed.
Legion 47, after player, you'll be direct to the Asheville airport.
Increase our descent just a bit.
Is there a Asheville VOR that I can go direct to?
No, you should just go direct to KAVL.
Roger.
Number 47 Papa, just to maintain 900,000, advise you have the Mountain Air airport in sight.
To maintain 900,000 Wilco, Newton 47 Papa. Alright, so we're going to try to get it on down here. Actually going to slow us back a bit. So I've flown here one other time, and it's a little tricky to find. It looks like we are going to have some clouds to contend with.
7 Alpha Yankee, advise we have the Birmingham airport in sight.
This is taking us direct to the airport. It says it's 15 miles away.
Just let me know when you do have it.
Keep slowing us down a bit. Definitely don't need to be flying any faster than we have to up here in this terrain with clouds
American
around.
823 just to maintain 3,000.
To maintain 3,000
So it's our approach procedure into this airport.
November 7 Alpha Yankee,
definitely some precipitation up ahead.
So
I see rainbow
clear visual
now.
approach runway 24 since you have the airport inside. Clear visual approach runway 24.
I think I actually see the runway. Maybe.
Digit 556, line center, roger. Delta 1523, contact line approach 133.47.
Look out over the nose really quickly.
133.47, Delta 1523, see ya.
Walker 3608,
I
line
think
center,
I see
Alpha
the
with you.
airport dead ahead. See the community. Looks like there's going to be a rain shower just off the end of the runway, so it'll be interesting. It should be a pretty approach.
China Club 6129, Atlanta Center, roger. Climb and maintain flight level 3990.
There's Burnsville just up to the
4782,
north,
there's an additional area of moderate to heavy
check
precipitation
this.
at your 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock in 40 miles area. It's about 40 miles in diameter.
Yeah, we have it here. We'll wait for you to deviation.
Just gonna wait till the scenery draws that just to make sure I see it and know that's the airport. Pretty sure that's it. Yeah, I see the golf course, see the runway. Yep, airport in sight.
Number 7 Alpha Yankee, advising you're on final for 24. Thanks. Turbine 692, contact line approach 133.47.
Land Center, Duke 47 Papa has Mountain Air in sight.
For 47 Papa, roger. Clear visual approach into Mountain Air. There's no traffic observing the area. For cancellation fire with me, frequency change approved.
Clear visual approach, Mountain Air, frequency change approved. Wilco, Duke 47 Papa. Alright. So let's head on down to 8,000.
Legion 487, this is to maintain 11,000. Asheville altimeter is 3008.
Take it down to 8,000. This is the procedure they want you to fly.
Legion 487, negative. This is to maintain 11,000, 11,000. Asheville altimeter is 3008.
Sorry, 3008 and 11,000.
So there's the runway, there's the airport. Just a little shower off the edge of the airport. Just keep it coming on down here. We'll go ahead and get our... Get our landing lights on, taxi lights on, it's all good.
Sam 2000, Atlanta.
Advisory. On air traffic, Duke 9747 Papa. 5 miles west. Circling over Burnsville to 6,000, and we'll enter right traffic runway 32, Mountain Air. And code 12345. So they have a code that they send you. So I just made that up, but you'd have to give them the code apparently to be able to land there. So gotta make sure we keep the airport in sight. I'm actually going to set this to 3.2 just so I have it as a reference. Okay. Alright, here's Burnsville. Sun's starting to set. We're at 8,000 feet. Let's see if I can... It's always a little bit trickier when there's the runway right over the engine there. See it? So we're kind of on a right crosswind right now. I'm going to actually turn off the flight director so it's not annoying us here. We're going to go down to 6,000 feet. Mountain air traffic to 47 Papa, entering extended right downwind, runway 32. Mountain air. Alright, I'm going to slow us down too. We'll go ahead and get ready to bring the gear out. I turn the ice deflectors on, get the oil doors open. See if I got the runways up there. And we'll take it to 6,000 feet. Just keep it nice and wide here and try to slow it down a little bit. Let's go and get the gear down. It's definitely getting a little bit of rain. Temperature is above freezing, which is good. We're Keep it at 6,000 feet. Flaps to approach, please. And we're going to start our right base here in just a minute. Start descent, it's about 500 feet per minute. Here we go onto the base. On our traffic, Duke 47 Papa, right base, runway 32, down there. So we're getting some marginal VFR here. I'm going to try to keep that descent rate. A little bit of trouble seeing the runway. Honestly, we might have to go mist if I don't get another clear view of it. I lost it in the sun, in the clouds there. I think it's, you see, definitely you get in trouble. There's the runway. Alright, I got it. Flaps. Down. So we're looking at about a 90 knots on the approach. I'm going to keep it right at the red line. And props to high. Gas, undercarriage, mixture, props. Here we go. On our traffic, Duke 47 Papa, turn and final. Runway 32. On our. Might be too high. Yeah, we're too high. This sucker can really get in the props. So here we go. Touchdown by the time we get there, just in time. Keep it on that center line. There we go. Get out of reverse. What a cool approach, huh? There's the end of the runway. You do not want to go off of that because you will fall right off the mountain, as you can see. There's the clubhouse. What a cool place, huh? Alright, let's turn it around on the runway here. Back downhill. Look, there's all that rain that was up in the mountains. We'll park it. On our traffic, Big 47 Papa, back taxi runway 32 to parking. Mountain Air. I think we'll take it right over in here. Let's turn it around. What a cool place, huh? Let's put those flaps up. Almost went around there. If I'd been in a jet, there's no way we could have gotten down with these props. It's almost like boards. You can just bring it right down. Alright, there we go. Set our parking brake. Get our lights where they need to be. Alright, let's go through the checklist. Let's get the radar off to standby. Get this transponder. Let me go ahead and call.
Descend, maintain 9 south, 10 3000. Thank you.
Got to turn the blower off for landing, but it's alright. Land center, Duke 47 Papa on the ground, Mountain Air, cancel IFR.
Persona Alpha Yankee, tax ramp at your discretion, cross runway 18, have a good one. Number 47 Papa on land center, IFR cancellation received, have a good night.
Good night, thanks. Alright, we're good.
Southwest 5538,
Let's get through our shutdown checklist really quickly.
I maintain 340.
Pull it up here. I had to print this onto a piece of paper.
Alpha Foxtrot
Like
is
4 pages on one side, so it's hard to find it sometimes.
757 Alpha Foxtrot,
Landing lights are off, nav lights are now, oil doors,
and
get
we can start
those
descent here. Do you mind if we start?
For 7 Alpha Fox, I'll give you vectors in just a second.
Close the ice deflectors. De-ice is all off, except I need to turn off. Yeah, I got the...
Remember 1 Lima X-ray cross D-hat at maintain 8,000, line altimeter 3001.
Turn that off.
Cross T-hand at maintain
Flaps are up,
8,000
radar,
and altimeter 3001, 1 Lima X-ray.
German cargo 459, there's an area of moderate to heavy precipitation at your 11 to 12 o'clock in.
And cabin mode, temperature. Got the blower on, cabin air is on. I'm just going to go ahead and turn all this off. I'm going to put the cabin into dump. That way we know we're depressurized. Shutdown check, parking brake set, avionics, master switches, let's turn those off. Avionics are all off. De-ice is all off. Generators, let's turn those off. The power levers are flight idle. Propeller levers, let's go to feather. Ooh, there we go. You gotta pull it all the way back. And listen, I love how you can hear the feather. It's very quiet. It actually gets to where you can see the props eventually. But really cool how they modeled that. See, look at that. That's so cool. Condition levers are cut off. Fuel pumps to off. All electrical equipment and lights off. Let's get all of them. And let's pull the condition levers to cut off. There we go. She's shutting down. And battery master off. The inverter off there. Battery selector to 1. Alright. That is the flight. We are here. Let's get the control locks on. Then we're going to hop out of the aircraft and go check out Mountain Air. Get up to the restaurant really quickly. So you just click on the control locks over there. Get the throttle stops on. You turn the oxygen off. Forgot to get that. Got really busy at the end of the approach there, as you can see. Alright, let's get the door open so we can get out of here. We didn't really use too much of our oxygen. You can see we're still at most of it still left, so we should be able to get out of here. They don't have any oxygen at Mountain Air that I'm aware of. Get the cabin door open, get the wheel chocks on. Pitot covers, engine covers are on. And I can put that control light back on. Alright, let's get out of the airplane. Let's go check out Mountain Air for a little bit. Turn on a little music while we go check it out. So, got here just before sunset, which is good. You can see it's just a beautiful airport. I would highly recommend picking it up. Just a few bucks on the marketplace, but definitely worth it in my opinion. Just a lovely place. So let's go check it out. And if you check out their website, they have some really cool videos just highlighting a lot of the amenities that are available. It's looks like it'd be a fun place to live, especially if you like flying. This is the road, full 18-hole golf course, off-court carts going all around. There's a clubhouse, restaurant, swim pools right up here in the mountains. What a beautiful neighborhood. Yeah, check it out, Mountain Air. Come fly in here sometime. I'd love to fly along with you all in the future. I'll try to keep you updated on the Discord channel. But for now, have a wonderful evening. It's a beautiful evening here in North Carolina in the Appalachian Mountains and Mountain Air. See you on a future flight. VRF Summer signing off. Good night.